These boxes have been sitting in my front entry for almost a week. I was out of town working, and then I've been local for a day now, but I just had doc appointments, training at the gym, running errands, have not had a free moment. I want a solid hour to sit down, open everything, and get acclimated. And I got about 40 minutes right now. First build up, broadcast style with the servo zoom, starting with the small rig sliding shoulder pad, VCT style. This thing was $200, which is why I bought it, but I think ultimately I'm gonna go with the ARRI accessories. I'm just trying to spread out the big ticket spend items for a bit here. This is heavier than I thought, this small rig. I was hoping to be lighter weight and a little bit lower profile. Also, to get the rods, I eyeballed it, but to get the rods in approximately the right height for lightweight support, I'm afraid this locking lever may be in the way with some of my lenses, but I don't know, we'll see. With the primes, which are kind of this diameter closer to the sensor. Okay, so first major issue with this small rig, this is very loose. This is a steel ARRI rod. I think it's ARRI, it might be a wooden camera. They do not fit. It's too tight of a tolerance. I even tried forcing it in there and it just won't go in. But the rear rods, they fit, no problem. There's actually a little bit of extra slop there. So I pulled out an aluminum rod. I don't know who manufactured these, but 15 mil, same problem. They do not fit. So, I don't know, I might have to return this thing. I bought it specifically to support zoom lenses and to slide. So I think it's gonna be ARRI for the win. My other hesitation with the ARRI Burano setup is it looks like it's even higher stack height from the shoulder pad to the base of the camera. I want something nice and low profile. I was looking at some of the older F55 plates made by Sony as well as ARRI. ARRI made a nice super low profile one. I'm just not sure. The rod height is not adjustable, and I think it may actually be a little bit too high. On the good news side, when I had this lens up on the demo camera, I could not get the camera to read the focal length, and it is on this one. I'm also getting iris, or I'll just see iris 2.9 and 8, and so that means the stabilization is active and adjusting based on the focal length. And when I was in PL mode on the other camera, because it wasn't sensing the lens, I don't think it allowed me to go into the high mode, but it does on this one. It crops the image in a little bit, but that's the trade-off, same as FX3. It's a good trade-off. I'm happy with that. With the shoulder pad right here, it's still a little bit front heavy with the single battery. I think with the dual battery on the back, which makes the whole rig heavier, I could slide the shoulder pad back a little bit. One challenge I'm running into is the hand grip is a little bit uncomfortable because it's so close to my chest. It's like compressing my elbow a little bit too much, but I could shoot for say 20-30 minutes at a time on my shoulder broadcast style and be okay. But man, with that shoulder pad on there, this thing now feels about the same amount of heft as my Amira, even though I know it's a little bit lighter, but the small rig is adding a considerable amount of weight to the build. Before I pull off the shoulder pad, I also wanted to test it out with the E-mount 28 to 135. Everything feels good for the front handle install, but yeah, this VCT base is just heavy. Makes the camera a lot bulkier. So yeah, hopefully that Zacuto is a little lower profile. Also installed the mid 49 swivel. Am I just not being aggressive enough? No, it's a cable issue. It's a little saggy and wobbly. Maybe I can tighten that pivot screw. I don't like how even when it's in this position, when I press my head in, there's just a lot of play in the EVF. So swivel's nice, but for me doing ENG, I like having a rigid viewfinder so that I can press my head, my eyeball into the EVF as a stabilization point when I'm operating. So yeah, to do 6, we got to cut over. Maybe 5 will fit in there.
Maybe 5. I don't want to put.
Try a 5th one. What are they getting caught on right there? I guess it's in. Wow, they actually fit better than they did at a higher angle. That looks nice.
Don't accelerate.
So do I keep the boom pole in that slot, or do you want to put the 2 black newer stands in that spot?
I think so. I want to D-ring, probably D-ring somewhere over here, D-ring here, so I can ratchet strap these, because right now they can slide back.
What if it was like from right in there and around to here? You'd get a good pull. Or I could go into the wall back here, find something solid to bolt to around to here.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a huge pain.
I don't think those are going to fall now though, because they're nested up on the front side.
Slam.
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to test it out today, 3-hour drive, see what happens. Did you find all the missing feet?
Yes.
Nice. I think this black or blue bag has more feet in it too.
Okay.
My little shop area, a little bit better organized. Made this now a camera shelf, camera only. This is a lens shelf, although I got some accessory cases up there until I work out a better solution. This is my work table, welding table. Keeping this box because I got to file for a rebate. That charger needs to be repaired. This is home household stuff. Broken bits on the bottom that need my attention. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tripods over here. I can stuff these socklers in here. New spot. Oh, smells like sewage. Pretty terrible. I don't know where it's coming from. I've gotten hit with it over here before, but never this bad. About 15 minutes out from our first hits. We only have 2 hits this evening.
Let's get to Jorge Ventura live for us with that report tonight. Jorge.
Well, Natasha, the Section 702 of FISA was set to expire on April 19th. Now the House back in Washington, D.C. will reconsider the passage of this bill after Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna objected to it. Now, the intelligence community says that this FISA renewal is needed to collect information about foreigners abroad with suspected links to terror without a warrant. Congresswoman Luna telling News Nation that these surveillance powers have been abused in the past, including spying on American citizens.
I really don't care to hear their fear campaign. I think that what they're doing is wrong.
All right, based on my audience being 99% male, ages 25 and up, if you're on the road for a week on a project, and your choices are a like $260 a night Holiday Inn, Comfort Inn type of hotel, and like hamburger and chicken dinners, or the dirt parking lot, $75 a night motel, but it means you're eating steak and seafood 2-3 meals a day. And when I got out of the shower this morning, the rodent guy was here to spray pesticides in my room, which, and you can see the floor is still all wet from the bug juice. What would you choose? Eat healthy and get poisoned in your sleep, or the low budget meals? Let me know.
Jorge, good morning.
Good morning, Marty. Yeah, so Section 702 of FISA is back on the House floor today.
And record time, 9 minutes to set up signal tests, ready for our hits. It's nice having
back available to help me build the lights.
To San Diego, where this dramatic video shows a speedboat. It's racing to shore. That boat believed to have up to 20 migrants on board. It nearly hits a surfer in the water. You can see it there. When it gets to shore, you see the migrants jump out and then start running to cars to take them away. Jorge Ventura has the very latest on all of this. So, Jorge, the video is alarming. Has the state seen an increase in this type of smuggling?
Good morning, Kelly. Yes, it has. And this type of smuggling usually is rare, but now officials in San Diego are saying that these scenes are becoming more frequently, becoming a safety and security concern. The issue here is because they are arriving on boats on the water, there is no technology to register these individuals as gotaways. So right now, the scary part goes, we truly don't know the number of these individuals arriving on the beaches of California right now.
Absolutely. All right, Jorge Ventura, thank you. Well, for more on what we're seeing in San Diego, let's welcome in San Diego.
Last shot, day 5 of 6 for us. Got a corporate thing tomorrow. Should be an easy day, but I'm gonna have 3 cameras working versus 1. Thinking about maybe bringing the Burano. The job doesn't call for it. I was gonna do the cameras I already have because I booked the job before the Burano came in. But I don't know, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll bring it just so I can spend a little time working with it. But we can talk about that tomorrow.
Racing onto the shore. With that, Jorge Ventura joins us, News Nation correspondent, now with reaction to this video. What's going on here, Jorge?
So I've been speaking with San Diego officials, and they say that these smuggling incidents are extremely rare, but have now become...
All right, just got home from a 12.5-hour day. Beck's mowing the lawn. I gotta switch over record specs for this next project. So corporate interviews, we'll get into the BTS tomorrow, but first up, I like to get my cameras set to the record specs and settings for the day, the night before. So in the rush of loading it in the morning and meeting new clients and all of the dance, and there'll be agency people there, I don't want to have my head in cameras. So I've got some very simple user presets. I know I've got Ryan Mitchell sent me a whole bunch more I need to load in here. I just haven't gotten to it, and I kind of like the simplicity of my 3 or 4 here. I got my news set up for broadcast TV, Cinetone, and log. I need to label these better, but they default to 2398 UHD, so this is in the custom mode, just kind of defaults. And then log is actually cine mode. Yeah, I need to do a better job naming these, but tomorrow we're going to be shooting UHD in S-Log3, S-Gamut3 cine, and this will be, just got to reboot. My normal A camera is going to be my B camera tomorrow because this has been sitting at the house. It's now been, I think it's been 2 weeks. And I haven't actually used it on a job. I think I've clocked maybe 30 minutes. I've had the camera booted up in 2 weeks. Took me a week to open the box because I've just been shooting like a crazy person. Projects, it's good to be busy. So I've got this teched out as A cam, and I know the forum people are saying that, here, let's go to shooting formats real quick. And I did put on the flipper from mid 49, but I created a user profile here for this shooting. Oh, we're in the high ISO at the moment, that's fine. Oh my gosh, this is a 12-hour day catching up to me. Project, base settings, Cine EI, and then my record format is for this job, we're 2997. I'm going to run this camera in full frame 6K, AVC. I got to upload all the footage. It's interviews and B-roll. I think I'm going to do AVC-L, even though it's log. I'm going to think about that tonight, but pretty sure I'm going to do that just because of the file transfer situation. S-Gamut3. So, from the chart shooter, Pixel Peepers online reviewing the Burano, they say, I've seen them, it's a little bit softer, whatever the scaling or pixel binning is when you're in this full frame crop for 6K. But to shoot in the AVC codec and record UHD, that's the only full frame option at the moment. Otherwise, I gotta go 8K record in full frame 8K using the XOCN codec. This is not that kind of project. I'm gonna shoot E-mount primes tomorrow too. I took the PL mount off. I'll just get my kit zoom on for now. I think what I'll do, yeah, I'll just swap lenses in the morning once we get on set. But this is probably gonna be a 50mm for the interview, primary camera. And this will be an 85, like a semi-profile closer shot. And I may just stay on the zoom for this one and back it up and zoom it in more depending on what the alternate background option is at the location. So this card's formatted as A1. I need to change the frame rate now that I loaded my profile. So we're going to record format. We're gonna go 29, oops. The scroll wheel on the Burano is much improved over the FX9. This one, I do all kinds of false clicking on it. It jumps around more or less than I expect. And I got a fresh card in here, and we're going to label this as B1. B1 format. Did you already do the backyard?
Yeah. Problem is 3/4 of the backyard is dead.
Yeah, that's true. It's in between. Okay, cool. I own 3 of these Denicky Locket timecode boxes, and I keep them on my 2 FX9s, and the third one floats for, you know, whatever the third thing happens to be, usually my FX3, or it's somebody else's 9 or FX6. Instead of putting a locket on this camera, because I don't have my accessories figured out just yet, what I'm gonna do, and there's no double system tomorrow, we're gonna direct feed to one of these cameras for audio. It's a single interview. So I'll jam one of the cameras off the internal time code, and then I'll move the locket to the other camera to jam it. So one will be running off its internal clock, the other one will be external. It's one interview, probably one roll, one continuous clip for both, so I'm not worried about drifting. Okay, third camera is teched out, same record settings, or as close as I can get on the FX3. This will be on a gimbal for B-roll, shooting in real time at 29.97. This job originally, I'm working for a creative agency, and it's their end client, it's corporate. And when I put the original bid together, it was B-roll on a gimbal and then one interview. So the clients were thinking I'd use the same camera for the B-roll as well as the interview. But if you've seen my vlogs before, when I go interview mode, I already own it, it's on the truck, it's paid for, so I prefer to run the FX9 for standard interviews versus the little mirrorless. All right, except for batteries, which are charging, I'm gonna put my car keys on the chargers tonight. Truck is packed. I haven't figured out what kind of case I want for these Astras just yet, so they're riding on my bunk with a rope ratchet through them, so if I stomp on the brakes, they don't move. Burano is going to ride right back here. FX3, FX9's on the side door. Easy load in. Decided to leave the ramp at home, tool chest stays in the truck, and we got everything in one trip with the 2 rock and roller carts. Like most corporate shoots, the interviews were scheduled in the conference room with the massive immovable table, 3 white walls with no art, and then all windows on a overcast day. So I was able to convince in advance the clients to let us shoot out in the lobby by showing screenshots of past interviews I've done for corporate clients in hallways and lobbies. And unfortunately, there was one good wall as a backdrop, which meant my cameras were up against the wall on the other side of the room, so I could not get a tighter angle as a profile. Cameras ended up being side by side. So in the end, I could have shot this with one camera a little wider and then done some reframes in post. I mean, I guess the benefit of that B angle is it's an 85mm lens. I shot it at an f2.0, so it's got much softer depth of field than the 50 would have been cropped in, say, halfway. Auto white balance off a bounce card at the chair, position into my key light, and then just drop the 2 clips into Catalyst Browse. And yeah, near perfect match for colors. My FX9 was a touch underexposed. I'd say the Burano was perfect. I wish I'd put my son in the chair and rolled the 2 shots so I could share it with y'all, because I don't have permission to show the client footage, but it looks fantastic. I actually emailed a couple of buddies the 2 screenshots, other DPs, and a very color capable producer editor I work for, and asked them, you know, which is Burano, which is FX9, and they all replied back, yeah, those things are darn close, great matches, totally interchangeable, but every single one of them was able to identify which shot was the Burano. Last shot of the day and last shot of my 6th consecutive day run. I had a 3-day next week, Monday through Wednesday, that just released, so it looks like I'm off for a bit. Until the phone rings again. I think my next is 3 weeks out, but I got two weeks of work in the calendar. But things will come in between now and then. I returned the small rig plate. I bought the Zacuto plate. I went with the one that had the smaller top plate. I figured this is like Arca, or I think it's Manfrotto. I'm gonna return it. It's just as heavy. I mean, this thing is like ridiculously heavy. So hold on, let me get my Amira plate. I wish I had a postage scale to compare, but heavy. I would say this is like half the weight. 1/2. So the rear end, it's like floating. There's no tie down back there, and then they ship this little rubber cap to put on your VCT, I guess, to protect that. But I got like 4 Sackler tripods in my rotation, all have VCTs, and then I have carts that have VCTs on them. So I would have to buy 6 or 7 of these little caps, but then that would make my VCTs incompatible with all my other cameras. There's not a whole lot of travel here for balancing with various lenses. Like my PL zooms are very front heavy, so I need to have the shoulder pad probably about there, maybe here. No, I think it'd be back there. Now I could, I guess, buy a third party, like a 12-inch plate, but then the safety catch would be disengaged with like a 12-inch plate. So I have the risk of, when I make an adjustment, losing it. Also, it only came with one tie-down screw. I'm gonna return it, and I think I'm just gonna go with my original plan, which is the Ari base. I was just a little concerned because there's an intermediate lightweight block that goes on, and then this slides below, and it adds a bunch of vertical stack height to the camera. So now the camera's just more top heavy, and the viewfinder bracket is at more of an angle. But I think it's gonna be Ari for the win. The other reason is I have my BP8s and BP9s to run my big 10:1 zoom, and I got a job coming up in 3 weeks where I'm gonna be shooting Burano on the 10:1. So I need to get something that's studio size rod support for the Burano for that anyway. So yeah, all right, this is getting returned, and I'm gonna order the Ari accessories.